All right. All right, there we go. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our new grantees. We're going to start off our meeting with a warm-up question. And I'm going to give you a moment to kind of participate in this warm-up question while I go to the next slide, which is a welcome slide. Again, excuse me, you can join the warm-up question by clicking the link. Okay, he got to the next slide already. Oh, okay. All right, so let me just post the link in the chat once more so that you have easy access. Feel free to skip the registration for the Poll Everywhere question. And we do invite everyone to participate in the warm-up question. So welcome to our kickoff meeting for our round 26 grantees. Again, my official introduction, I am Nikita Afaha. I'm a program manager here with Affordable Learning Georgia. And we have Jeff, if you'll unmute.
Hey, I'm Jeff Gallant. I'm the program director for Affordable Learning Georgia.
And welcome in, everyone. So the first thing we're going to do in our meeting today is go through this warm-up question. We're going to look at the results here because it's really important to kind of start off with these expectations. And then Jeff will get into our agenda for the afternoon. And this recording will indeed be shared with our grantees for round 26. All right, so let's see, we will, okay. It looks like it's not showing, so I'll just take control and show it on my side. All right, can everyone see the results on my screen?
Yep. Well, it says nobody has responded yet, which is weird.
Oh, so I wanted to share. Okay, I need to share my screen then. Hold on one second. That's what I forgot to do, is share my screen. Let's do that. Pardon me. All right, let's do that. Present that, and then all right, did it share?
Yep.
Great, great. We're here now. Sorry about that, guys. So these are the results of the poll. What do you need to know to have a successful grant project? We appreciate everyone participating. Please continue to do so. We're going to have it open here for just a few moments while we talk about this. So far, we have 16 responses, and you're able to upvote or downvote responses that are already there. And it's really important for us to kind of get this feedback from you. It does inform how we continue to improve and our grant programs and our kickoff meetings. And so right now, it looks like what's really important to everyone are the deadlines, the expectations, where to go when you need help. And that's really important. And of course, that is some of the stuff we'll be covering today. It's also important to talk about some of the second one, which is a good, realistic plan for with room for life happening, because that does indeed occur. And there are certain things in place already to help with needs for life happening. And Jeff, again, that is also included in today's presentation. He will talk more about that. We appreciate your participation so far in this warm-up question. The third one in the vote here is good communication with your team and a clear and logical, reasonable schedule. That is indeed something that is important. Time management, schedule is important. Time management and goal settings, as I see the rankings are changing here. And of course, we're looking at clear deadlines, doable tasks. These are all things that we'll be talking about here today. So I'm glad to know that these are things you're looking for is to have a successful grant project. We hope that after we get through with today's presentation, that some of these items will be addressed. For those items that have not been addressed, then we will give you the information on how to contact us directly so that we can address them for you and make sure that your projects get started off good and end successfully. All right, so a couple of other votes. We still got deadlines as the top one, realistic plans, indeed. Expected outcomes, we're also going to talk about that as well. Well, everyone, thank you for participating in this poll. We'll get started with the rest of the presentation here. Jeff, I'll turn it back over to you. And let's see. Okay.
Trying to navigate a couple of different things of software at the same time. Here we go.
There we go.
All right. So today we're going to go through a few things. The last time that folks responded to the warm-up question, they were like, where is the timeline? We need a timeline. We need to know the deadlines. We are going to share that. So I made sure that it is listed on the agenda this time around. So we're going to split up our team introductions into our research and continuous improvement grants, and then later on our transformation grants. In between, we'll do a little bit of a walking tour of sorts on the ALG website, a little break in there. Then after our introduction part, we'll do a bit of a refresher on OER, although you have gone through the training part of that. We'll talk about the service level agreements and the invoices and how that all works. It's a little bit different from last time around, so it's we changed it just a bit on the wording there. The reporting expectations and the timeline for it, the communications protocol that we follow here, and the midpoint check-in meeting, which is a relatively new thing where we meet up halfway through our projects to see how everybody's doing. Then just an ending Q&A. So that is our overall agenda for the day. Next thing we are going to do is some introductions. So first of all, I'd like to start with our 2 research grant projects. The project leads are listed here. If the lead's not here, if somebody else is on the team, please do speak up instead. The first project we're going to talk about is from Dr. Beznosko's team at Clayton State University. So please introduce yourself and your research topic. You may have to unmute Dr. Beznosko. There may be some technical difficulties going on. I know. Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah, I think there are some technical difficulties going on. So Chelsea, would you mind talking about the project at Kennesaw State?
Sure thing. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Dixon, and I am the Assistant Director of Academic Engagement and Instruction, Scholarly Publishing and Research at Kennesaw State University. And my grant team members are Sabrina Davis, Christina Clement, Jin Jo, and Femi J.E.Ola. Our research project is titled Grassroots Only Goes So Far, Why Your OER Needs a Strategic Marketing and Promotion Plan. So we are going to embark upon a qualitative research study, and we are going to see if we can figure out why OER creators are not creating sustainability and advocacy plans when they create their OER.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. Dimitri, if you are here, please do chime in. I saw that the team is logged in, so there definitely is some sort of technical issue going on. So if you're able to share that in chat a little bit later, that's totally cool. Continuous improvement grants. We have a lot of them. You may not even be able to read this depending on the screen you're looking at. I'll try to make this clear. The first project that we're going to talk about is Legal Writing 1 project from the University of Georgia and Dr. Jean Mangan.
Hi, I am Jean Mangan. I am a lecturer at UGA. I teach in the law school. My project team is, there's a grand total of 2 of us. There's me, and then there is a student partner, Emily Harris. And so what I'm doing is updating my existing OER resource, which is a textbook for my legal writing classes, trying to make sure that it's continuing to be helpful for students. And our big focus this grant round is to update the examples to be more in line with what my current expectations are for student work, since my expectations have elevated since I first wrote my text. And that's why I'm thankful we have continuous improvement options.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Dr. Shirley Tian from Kennesaw State University with Foundations of HIT. I do not see Shirley at first glance. Is anyone from the team here able to talk about the project?
Yeah, this is Chloe. We're from the
Hello.
same department. Hello, everyone. Dr. Chen, maybe she has a schedule conflict, but I'm happy to provide some information for this grant. I'm the team member of Dr. Tian. So for this grant, we propose to improve 4 undergraduate and graduate level courses by using affordable materials and update the technology, the technical parts using the most updated technologies in the world. So this improvement of the course will help the student to understand what's the recent changes in information technology area. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Heidi Eisenreich from Georgia Southern and her team for vertically integrated projects.
Hi, I'm Heidi Eisenreich from Georgia Southern, and I'm on with my colleague, Andrea Disney. We are math teacher educators, and so we teach education majors, and this course the vertically integrated projects, we've been creating some resources for teachers, for education majors, for people out in the field. And this round, we're trying to support people with fraction understanding with progression of word problems. So when students are in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, coming up with some word problems that would support their students in those grades with like number sense and pictures and stuff like that. And if Andrea, you want to jump in, feel free. Okay.
You covered that perfectly.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. At UGA, there are 2 projects on general chemistry for scientists and engineers, 2 very distinct ones. Let's hear from Dr. Jessica Jensen.
Hello, it's both Jessica Jensen and Iman Abdulrahman from the project team here. We are working for both Gen Chem 1 and Gen Chem 2 on making case studies that are appropriate for our honors and our majors sections so that we can get them more interested in chemistry and see how chemistry is applied in the real world.
All right, thanks so much. Also at UGA, we have a modern organic chemistry project from Mark Iuliucci and his team. We have a lot of the department in attendance today, so I think it'll be okay, but yeah, I do not see him on the list here. Okay, if he is here a little bit later, he can always share that in chat. Over at University of West Georgia, there's an elementary German 1 project with Alexander Klassen's team. Dr. Klassen, please.
I don't think that Dr. Klassen is able to be with us today. I'm Felix Dwyer. I'm part of the team along with Nicole Crawford, who's here today. And beginning in fall 2025, we are adopting an OER developed at Princeton University called DRD Das for elementary German. And our grant is to work with a team of native German speakers on the faculty at UWG and some students who are signed up for internship credits to create authentic to UWG and Georgia materials that complement the introductory textbook program that we're adopting. Those would include audio files, videos that task students with using locations on the campus or things that are specific to UWG or Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you. At Georgia Highlands College, there's an Introduction to General Psychology project with Dr. Sean Callahan as project lead. Would the team like to talk about this one too?
Sure. Hi, my name is Sean Callahan.
Oh, there you
Hello,
are, Sean.
everyone. Yeah, here I am. I'm here. And so our project, it's just me. It's a solo project, and I am using Articulate 360 to create interactive video quizzes for introduction to psychology. And you have to excuse my partner here. She's one and a half, and so she's loud. So that's it. Thank you.
No problem at all. And thank you. The noise reduction is doing wonders for everybody. We didn't even hear anything here. At UGA, there's another modern organic chemistry project. If Shelby Dickerson is here and able to talk about that, that would be awesome. I don't know because I didn't hear from Mark, but we can see here. Yeah, it's possible that this team was not able to make it today. Over at Fort Valley, I just sent the link again over to Dr. Samuel Cartwright, and he's got a Calculus for Business and Economics project going on. Would you like to share that with us?
Good afternoon. I've been having some problems with internet. For our project, what we want to do is we're planning on using AI and a software that can keep everything in place for us to transfer from the AI to generate a textbook, well, not a textbook, a workbook aligned with the free resources we already have to enhance our students' learning. And we believe that our project would be the beginning of us creating all new materials that correlate well for our students to learn the material better.
Sounds awesome. Thank you. At UGA, we have 2 software development courses with Dr. Bradley Barnes and Michael Cottrell. If either of you would like to share, that would be great.
Yeah, hello. I'm Brad Barnes from UGA, and I'm working with Michael Cottrell. We received an ALG grant, I think it was round 14 back in 2019, to replace a proprietary course textbook that we were using with a collection of resources that we authored ourselves back at that time. And we're participating this year to try to make some enhancements to that content. So previously we were hosting those resources on GitHub as sort of separate documents. So one thing we want to do is put all of those onto a single website, so it's easier for students to access them and be able to search through it and have it show up as more of like an online website textbook. And then the other part of the grant is to add review questions to each one of the sections and scaffold some of those questions so that the students can sort of ramp up their knowledge and work toward some of the more difficult problem-solving content that we want them to reach. So, yeah, we're excited to be here and improve the resources that we've created in the past. So, thanks.
Thank you so much. So let's go to another UGA project. I'm not sure if they're here because this is organic chemistry again, but if Nick Llewellyn and his team are here, please do share.
Hi there, I'm Nick Llewellyn.
Hello.
This is, I sent some text to my colleagues, but I'm not sure where Dr. Iuliucci and Dr. Dickerson are at the minute. Hopefully they're going to join real soon.
Okay.
So my project, I'm the solo PI on this project, and the work is on developing digital 3-dimensional manipulable guided tutorials on how to look at and manipulate molecules in 3 dimensions. That's a kind of a critical learning goal and a major sticking point for a lot of students in Organic 1. We always encourage them to get physical model kits, but sometimes they don't want to spend the money. Even if they have them, they don't want to bring them with them or take the time to build. And even if we get past all those points, they still need guidance in how to look at a molecule properly and to meet the conventions that we're using and things like that. So last summer, I piloted with instructional technologists at our School of Veterinary Medicine to create one demonstrating how to properly look and manipulate a molecule for the fission projection. That was really well received by our students. And so we're going to develop a lot more of these guided on rails kind of animations. Students can scroll through at their own pace, hit major key points along the way where we'll highlight what we've done, why, and aspirationally, since we are also part of a transformative grant from last year, where we are developing an OER text. I these resources directly into that textbook in the appropriate places, so we can have a completely seamless experience for the students.
Thanks so much. A little bit of breaking up at the ends there, but I think it's just there are some tech issues going on, but that's a really involved project. It sounds awesome. Let's go to Aural Skills 1, also known in the past as ear training, a course that I was also a TA for a very long time ago. Dr. Ben Wadsworth and his team.
So can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. So anyway, Ben Wadsworth and Kelly Francis here with me. And we also have Jeff Unick at KSU, and we're all music theorists. And we're doing a continuous improvement grant. Actually, this is our third grant with Affordable Learning. We're improving on our online ear training textbook. So this time we're adding a greater variety of melodies, scaffolding them more easily for the students. And we are adding a great variety of improvisation exercises, which we hope will help them internalize the hearing. So anyway, nice to be here.
Thanks so much. And let's go to Dahu's team at Kennesaw State University, the Geotechnical Engineering Lab. Dr. Hu.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Dahu, assistant professor from Kennesaw State University. So I have some camera issues.
That's okay. We can hear you. Oh, hello.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So initially, we submitted our project as a research project, and after review, so it turns out it fits better to the continuous improvement project. So we are happy for this clarification. So our project focuses on investigating the use of augmented reality to enhance engaged learning in our undergraduate geotechnical engineering lab at Kennesaw State University. So our geotechnical engineering lab, so normally we have 120 students per year. So this will have a large impact to our students in the department. So we aim to examine whether integrating AR can reduce the frequency of experiment errors. And also at the same time, we want to explore how the use of AR impacts student engagement, because currently we are using traditional lab manuals, and we find many students, they don't pay too much attention to those text descriptions. So we want to explore whether the use of those interactive tools can help them catch up more details. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an interesting project because there is a lot of research in how this is going to affect student learning. But at the same time, there's a lot of creation going on. And so that's where we're like, okay, well, this is also a CI grant because it's improving the course itself. So we wanted to make sure that could happen. Very cool.
Thank you.
I know that there were a couple of folks who had some tech issues, and that's all right. Nikita, as she says in the chat, she's going to provide an opportunity to include anyone who may have joined later had tech issues in this segment. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is share a window with y'all that just has the ALG website on it. This is a quick little look at what we've got over in Affordable Learning Georgia, the website. So it is at affordablelearninggeorgia.org. Most of you know this because you've applied for a grant on our website. But some of you may have gone to a direct link before and may have just kind of gone from there. So just in case, here's our homepage. There's a nice little timeline in this clickable link that we are doing as our 10-year anniversary. But the big part that you'll need to know is all up here. There's about, there's grants, there's resources, and then there's the newsroom. The really important stuff for you is the grants section. The Grantee Information Center is going to have everything that you need to fill out a semester report, a final report. If you need any information about the project itself, if you want to check out things like this presentation, they're all going to be there in the Grantee Information Center page, including the deadlines, which are super important. So this is probably the most important page that you'll access on this site as you're going through this project now that it has been accepted. If you're going to apply for later projects, apply for a grant is an easy way to get there, and there's also a link to it right there on the homepage as well. If you want to find out any previous projects and their final reports and their materials, you can go to the Grants Archive. It is a Power BI driven list, so it draws from the same Excel sheets that we use on our ends to organize all of our information to let you know where the previous projects have all taken place and what the link is to their stuff. So yeah, the grants part of the navigation bar, super important. There's also resources, which helps you find OER in a little overview. You can find the stuff that's been created here through our program in OpenALG. That's grant created materials and our partnership with the University of North Georgia Press. There's also the using generative AI in OER guidelines. This is a new thing. It was nominated as a finalist in the OE Global Awards. It's a way for us to give some sort of clarity on how to use these tools with OER from a teaching perspective, but especially from a creating and sharing perspective, because that's where the ALG part of it comes in. There are also some links to some great materials as well, like the Code of Best Practices and Fair Use for OER, which is really, really cool thing. Also, Fair Use of Trademarks Guide. It's very small, but it's really interesting to see how trademark folks have thought of this in a slightly different way. So yeah, generative AI guide, but also in here is a guide on open licensing and copyright, on how to customize and author contents, guides to accessibility that were created by an instructional designer, and then a little bit about things like library materials that have some wait a minute. No. Okay. So the inclusive access materials that the library has a deal with. So there are some in here that will meet that low cost mark as well. There's the newsroom tab. Some of these are just going to be ways that we post our news and host our events, but the subscribe to newsletter button is here. So if you ever want to make sure that you are subscribed to our newsletter that goes out and does things like announces when rounds of grants are going to be released and announces things like new events, opportunities for scholarship, please do subscribe to the newsletter. And the About page, this is especially for the public, for folks who are going, well, what is ALG? For administration, who have heard about ALG and they really want to get an idea of it. But also we've got things about OER in here, including a guide for how to list the activities you do with OER in tenure and promotion processes. And if you happen to run a tenure and promotion committee, what you may want to consider OER work, various kinds of it. There's a whole rubric there. If you want to look at our data, there's the Our Impact page. If you take a look at it, you'll see the significance of both the projects that have happened within our grants and the impact of making sure that the courses that you have changed and transformed are marked as such in Banner, that you have a no cost and low cost course in there. So if I look at the institution dashboard, and show how each, this will show how each institution is doing. This one is all, but I can change it to any of them. The stuff over here, ZNCM, ZLCM, these are the no cost and low cost sections. And these are all about the course markings and banner. The sections of the courses that are marked that, as opposed to the ones that are not marked that. So 17.23% of all sections marked as no cost across all institutions, which is neat. And we share this with all of the provosts to let them know how things are going at their institution. I can say, okay, well, here's Atlanta Metropolitan, or here's Albany State, College of Coastal Georgia. And I can say, well, how is this doing in comparison to the rest of the state colleges? And I can see the state college averages over here and how the institution's doing over here. So making sure that your stuff is listed in Banner the right way is very important. That differs per institution. I do not have all the answers as to how that happens at CCGA, for instance. So you will need to know at your institution how that all works. Yeah, so this is just a quick look at the stuff that's on this page. The Grantee Information Center is the most important, has all the deadlines right here, has the reporting guidelines, the semester status report online form and template, the final report online form and template for each type of grant. And so this was the fall 2024 list because that was coming due, the list of projects with the final reports due. This all draws from the spreadsheets that we have over here to organize all of our stuff, just running through Power BI. So that's a quick rundown of Affordable Learning Georgia. I'm going to quickly switch back over to this presentation. Got a multimodal thing going on here. But do we have any questions before we keep moving on? All right. Now, the next thing, the agenda does promise indeed a 10-minute break. So let us meet back up at 1:43 p.m. And I'm going to type that into the chat so that we know. Break over at 1:43 p.m. We'll come back. We'll introduce our transformation grants folks. We'll go over some very important information that y'all need to know. We'll even have a couple of little quizzes on it, which will be fun. And then we'll do some questions and adjourn. So let's go on that break now. Thank you. I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea so that I've been talking too long. So here we go. Hi, everybody. It is 1:43. So we're going to get started again, and we're going to be doing the second introductions for our transformation grants. Nikita, I'll operate the slides this time. Sorry about last time.
It's no worries at all. Welcome back, everybody. And Jeff, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to start with, we're going to do the transformation grant introductions. But first, I do want to go back to the research grant introductions so that we can catch back up. Thank you, Jeff, on those who may have had technical issues or those who, and also in the CI grants, who may have joined us a little bit later. So hopefully we're all back and ready to go. And just, as we're doing the introductions, keep in mind that these are good ways, especially with the continuing improvement grants, to think about your transformation grants and what you might be able to do in the future with some of the projects that are being held now. So I think we did have Dr. Bonozo, who was able to join us. Are you back? Would you like to introduce yourself and your project?
I'm here.
Great,
somehow I completely missed this little part. I have issue connecting to Wi-Fi for a while, So the idea of the project is to explore this new technology, the retrieval augmented generation with AI, to do various tasks for the class. Basically, the biggest worry that all my colleagues are having, and everybody present probably with AI, is that the data is technically not secure, even with the Microsoft Copilot and everything. I mean, it's still being sent over the internet, and technically, especially if you're worried for students' data or for your problems of the quiz or whatever, you want to keep everything on your computer. So nowadays, this is one of the biggest directions of AI development. You can now run them on your own computers. Probably a simple laptop is not the best machine, but average desktop or better is definitely something you can use. The other issue is that the smaller AIs are not as smart, obviously enough, right? I mean, if you think about ChatGPT, I will not be able to run it on anything that even our university has. But the smaller models can be made smarter by providing them context, right? So basically what you're doing, you're having a small model in your machine, but you're also doing this augmentation with the pieces you already have. And I did some small tests with the grant money. I'm going to make a bigger machine and try different models and also produce instructions and videos on how this can be done by anybody. It's not really complicated nowadays. So basically, I fed it, took from all my colleagues all the homeworks, all the problems they did over the years, and suddenly the AI becomes expert just in this one narrow subject. So you can use it to ask it for extra homework, for test preparation questions, for anything like this. And this is basically, you can ask it to check your student evaluation responses, to check some surveys, to track student progress. Because it's on your computer, there is no concern about the data, right? I mean, you already have all the files. Something going over those files does not change the security, right, of those files. So that is the idea of the project.
Great, thank you. No, highly interesting, very, very, very good that we're able to get to you to hear that introduction. And yes, there were a few in the continuous improvement grant area that weren't able to give their introductions as well. I didn't make a note, so please, if you were not able to do your introduction for continuous improvement, would you just go ahead and unmute now? And Sharon, Jeff, if you can remember who might, I can't remember exactly, but I think a couple from University of Georgia.
Yeah, they were UGA organic chemistry, including Dr. Mark Iuliucci and Shelby Dickerson.
And there were some technical issues, but if that was resolved, you're welcome to introduce now. Okay. All right, maybe we'll move on to the transformation grants. And if we have an opportunity at the end, we'll do that as well. Great, thank you. So we're going now with introductions for the transformation grants. Again, be attentive just to listen to not only what we're doing across the USG here, but maybe to provide a good idea for other projects that may come up as well. And I'm not as familiar with the USG, all of our faculty here, so I will not be trying to call out names. Jeff has been with the team a long, long time, so he can trust himself. I will just go by the institution. So if we can start with our first one with Georgia Gwinnett College, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Qing Shao from Georgia Gwinnett College. The class we're gonna transform is physical science 2. So I'm a professor of physics from Georgia Gwinnett College, and the physical science course at Georgia Gwinnett College is a theme-based. So each instructor can choose their own theme. So this time our team going to teach the physical science 2 with a theme, the solar system. So we actually, the same team members, by the way, we have 6 team members. Dr. Zhenjun Chen is also here in this kickoff meeting with us. And also we have Dr. Li Junpang, Dr. Sherita Moses, Dr. Paul Camp, and Dr. Taesong Lee. So 6 of us, we actually applied and get awarded the round 24 to transform physical science 1, which is with the topic of stellar astronomy. And so we actually seen a very positive student feedback, as well as that helped the students save money a lot. And so we're gonna continue to transform physical science 2 this way is focused on the solar system. And we are going to use the OpenStack astronomy book, the second edition. Actually, some of the faculty already adopt this like a free OpenStack textbook in their own class. This time we're gonna formally develop materials, include lecture videos, activities, and projects. And also we're gonna scale it up to more sections within our department. And I want to thank you, the ALG team, to actually provide incentive for the faculty to actually spend time to review all the open education resources and to adapt or develop the free resources in the course.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is the exciting parts of what we do. So we'll move on to University of West Georgia for the ethics policies, procedures, and special educations course.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Franklin, and I'm here with my team members, Trina Wood and Rebecca Peacock. And we also have another one, Ashley Sutton. The four of us will be working on back up, I am in the Department of Special Education and Teacher Education at University of West Georgia. And the four of us will actually be working on two courses at the university. It's an undergrad course and a graduate level course. And both of those courses are designed to prepare special education teachers for all their legal responsibilities, which is a lot. So we're excited to be able to transform the course and make it open access, and also so we can keep it update because regulations change constantly. So that was our main motivation, to have something that is flexible and being able to easily update and maintain the structure of the course. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, a great application of open education to keep things updated in fast-moving environments like that. And so we'll move on to Georgia Southern University of Computer Programming 1. Oh, yes, Jeff mentions that we've only listed the first course in each project, so it would be readable if there are other courses due mention. So Georgia Southern, if you are on the call with us, anyone from the team would be happy. All right, we'll press on to, we have another project from University of West Georgia, Consumer Behavior.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Agnieszka Kwiałkowska. I'm an associate professor of marketing, and I will be developing OER resources for consumer behavior class, which is offered as both 4,000 level and 5,000 level class. So we'll also target some of the graduate students. And that will save a lot of money because currently we are using a textbook with code that is required for purchase so that students can access the Connect platform. And yes, so we will totally eliminate that by providing reading materials and some other videos and activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm glad you were able to wait with us to come back and share your introduction live instead of just in the chat, because there was more context there that was very important. And I see that we have Dr. Cruz is having some connection issues. Jeff is working with that, and she's welcome, definitely to share over chat. And of course, if we get it rectified, we can add you in at the end as well. So apologize for that. All right, so let's.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
We can actually.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm Minaloshni Vimal Cruz from Georgia Southern. Sorry for that issue with my speaker. So I'm assistant professor of information technology. We got this opportunity to work on computer programming 1. Right now we are focusing on Python, and I have two other faculty members in this team, Dr. Adaf Salan and Neda. We are really excited to work on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your patience with me as well, as I'm not quickly as adept to read the chats as quickly as Jeff is, and he's able to catch up on some things for us. Great, thank you. So let's move on also to I think we're here at Kennesaw State for the construction materials lab.
Hello,
and Dr.
everyone.
Cruz, you're still you'll need to mute again, Dr. Cruz. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm Young Seo from Kennesaw State University. I'm an associate professor of civil engineering. This project is about enhancing the construction materials labs. So I'm working with the Dr. Dahu and then one part-time faculty on this project. And then our goal is to basically replace the current textbook by audio and video digital contents that could strengthen the students' understanding about the deep concepts. And at the same time, we try to enhance the students' experience with the hands-on kind of opportunities and experience in the lab. So that's our kind of ultimate goal at this point. Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. And a good goal at that. All right, we'll keep moving along with, we have Georgia Southern with the Foundations of Reasoning in Geometry, Algebra, and Data.
Hi, I'm Heidi Eisenreich, and this transformation grant I'm doing with a colleague of mine in the math department, Aaron Mayer, and working with College of Ed faculty. We're transforming a brand new course and using open resources and hoping to share that with other USG professors that want to share with their student teachers on these topics, using Desmos and using the standards that were just implemented in 2021 as a framework of creating resources and tasks.
All right, great. Thank you. University of Georgia, we have constitutional law. Let's see, I guess I could check the participant list.
I do not see Dr. Wilhelm, but if anybody on her team would like to talk about it, that would be awesome.
All right. All right, well, we'll forge on. We have another project from Kennesaw State with construction finance, excuse me.
Hi, this is Dr. Parminder Juneja, and I'm going to work on transforming the construction finance course with my colleague, Dr. Medati, and he is also right now attending this meeting. Construction finance is one of the core courses as established by the accreditation agencies for all construction management programs, as well as construction finance is one of the challenging courses that I have been seeing with my students for the past, I believe it's 10 years that I have been teaching the course. This course not only requires a lot of student engagement for them to actually maintain or retain some of the core concepts when they graduate. And what I have seen in the past so many years is just because of the course, there is only one or two books that this course has. And it's very difficult to grab those books because they are always over $100 or $120 a piece, and students do not want to grab that book. And that kind of really, what I have seen in my classes, it affects their performance, it affects their interest in the classroom. So this is where, when this opportunity we saw, I found this as a very good opportunity to come up with some of the resources from the libraries, some of the resources from some of the websites or the open government resources that can help our students learn from the real-time knowledge base, as well as applies some of the technology or the Excel workbooks that I have created over so many years to provide this knowledge base to the students, not only from the Kennesaw State University, but all across Georgia and all across the nation. If those resources are available to the students across the nation, that's my goal, that's the objective, and I look forward to achieving this goal and see the results of that, what we accomplish after we are done with the project.
Yes, and I appreciate the
Thank you.
context. Yeah, thank you. Very welcome. Appreciate the context as we look at how sometimes your past experience generates what the need for the transformation grant project would be. So that is very, very helpful. And it will be available across the nation through Open ALG.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know.
Correct.
And I'm sorry, I was losing some of my words when I was speaking because it's right now 12:30 a.m. in India, and I'm speaking from India right now. Will be traveling tomorrow, so I was losing my words when I was speaking. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, wow.
Well, we
Where
appreciate your sacrifice to be here today.
where in
I
India?
think, yes, my colleague, Dr. Medati, is also in India right now. I'm not sure if he would like to come on the camera or he would like to speak up, but he is attending the meeting. But I'm very sleepy, to be honest.
Oh, what region?
I'm in North India right now. It's a place called Chandigarh, which is near New Delhi.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So when I've been losing my words, what would be my excuse? I don't have any. So
But I knew that I was not getting some words, and I know I'm very sleepy, but I could finish the introduction. I'm happy about that.
And you did very well. No, we appreciate the context as well, because again, it's very interesting to hear how your years of experience and the need for your students have generated this particular project. And that's kind of the things we want to share in these introductions. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Sure. Bye-bye.
And for joining
I'm here
us.
on this side.
Understood. All right. Thank you so much. We'll continue on with Columbus State for our introduction to criminal justice. Do we have a project team member here that might be able to present that?
Yes, this is Patrice Kerner, and this project is going to be done with co-member Dr. Von Dahl, who's also on the call, and Dr. Garver, who's from our faculty side. It's multifaceted of why we want to do this course. One, this course is our largest one. This is our base foundational course for everything else that we teach in criminal justice, but it's also the course that makes the determination by the student of, do I want to go into this criminal justice program or do I want to go somewhere else? And of course, criminal justice is very needed. However, when we look at all the books that are offered for an introduction to criminal justice course, they're all very expensive and they go out of date very fast. They're usually, by the time something is published, the statistics and the data in the courses are already 2 to 3 years old. So we're looking for also the third thing of, we may have from time to time adjuncts teach this course, and we want to make sure that no matter who teaches this course, it's going to be universal. And the students will have the same learning throughout, regardless of who teaches it. So we're looking to be able to develop activities as well as all open access learning material that students can get to.
All right, understood. And thank you so much for that context as well. And I know that we are pressing through with our time, and we have some quizzes set up in the in some pop quizzes. So pay attention to some of the slides coming up. But depending on time, we may or may not get to those quizzes. I just want to mention that here as we continue on through our introductions and press on through the remainder of the kickoff meeting with some information we know will be important to you. Let's move on with our next person, our next team, College of Coastal Georgia with American Government and Politics. Is anyone here from that team that want to present?
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thanks. So my name is Dr. Drew Cagle. I'm an assistant professor of political science at Coastal Georgia. And my team and I are working on creating an interactive workbook for American Government and Politics. So we have the legislative mandate to teach this class. We teach lots of students, lots of sections of it, lots of different instructors. And so we're number one looking to sort of standardize the assignments and activities that students are doing across those sections so that they at least have a roughly uniform experience. And the second thing, and the problem that I'm trying to address, is that none of the textbooks, that we use, whether they are ones that students have to purchase commercially or they're open access, are really Georgia specific enough. And the thing about political science textbooks is you sort of have to get another one every 2 years, or you have to make updates every 2 years as there are new elections and new events occur. So doing it this way, we can be responsible for updating the assignments and the workbook, and we can include some of that Georgia specific stuff that larger commercial textbooks don't really have. So thankful to be here and looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that context. And so we'll continue on. I think we have another project from Kennesaw State, Composition 2.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
I'm Tammy Powell from Kennesaw State University, and it's been awesome listening to all your projects. They sound super exciting. I'm here with Jeannie Law, Ruth McIntyre, Amanda Shoemake, Jacob Westbury, and we have some additional members of our team. And we are creating a Composition 2 course. At KSU, our online courses have to meet certain standards, and new faculty are assigned these classes. And we need template courses so that they come in and it's equitable and ethical and high quality for everybody. So to help with this, we're building an online Comp 2 with Illumin OER. And we have a very exciting AI component we're putting in, and Jeannie's going to tell you about that. Jeannie?
Hi, everybody. Part of our project really is about sustainability. And one of the things that Tammy and Ruth and Amanda and Jacob and I were really concerned about is we did this for English 1101, where we inserted an AI chatbot based off of a custom GPT or RAG LLM that would allow students to engage with the textbook in real time, answering real questions that they had at any time of day, obviously, which was kind of a cool thing we did. We also wanted to do that for English 1102, but also building in this idea of sustainability. Many of you may not know that, we have 9,000 students coming through English 1101, 1102 at KSU, and 88% of our student body qualifies for Pell Grants. So the whole idea of sustainable OER for us is a real hardcore student success initiative. Right. And so we want to make sure that our first year writing classes hit those marks. And that's why with this English 1102, we're mirroring what we did with English 1101, which is integrating that Lumen textbook into a custom GPT with very specific instructions and offline specific data sets, knowledge bases for that allows students to use that textbook in a very interesting and engaging way.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Very interesting. And I hope that we're all getting not only the motivation and the momentum from all of the incitement that we hear in our projects, but also giving us ideas of how we can look at other projects in our departments and share with other faculty who might be interested in pursuing these projects as well. Thank you so much for that. And then so finally, we continue on with Fort Valley State. If we have our environmental microbiology team here.
Well, good afternoon to everybody from Fort Valley State. We're happy to be here. I'm Dr. Arita Samples, and I'm joined with two of my colleagues, Dr. Sunny Weezy and also Dr. Robert Dibby. And we are going to be working on taking the lab component of our 3 master's level science-based courses in our MPH program, which is environmental analysis, environmental micro, and physiological toxicology, and we're going to be creating an open access lab manual with all 3 of those classes because all of our students have to take all 3, and it will be open access for our colleagues across the state of Georgia to use so that, for others that have environmental science courses, they can pick and choose and hopefully get a lot out of this. We're looking to address the need from the standpoint both of the students and also to disqualify the financial burden that comes with laboratory kits because we're a web hybrid program, and so our students are at home trying to do these labs, and I don't know about anybody else, but the lab kits from these different corporate entities are prohibitively expensive. I mean, I've created lab kits 2, 3, 5, 8 labs, and they're hundreds of dollars. And I can tell you by seeing what's in them, frankly, they're not worth that. I mean, it doesn't take that much to put them together. So our lab manual is going to allow the students that are working in web hybrid or online programs that they will be able to have quality laboratory experiences using just what they have in their homes. And so no cost to them. It's going to be free. We're going to obviously offer it as open access. It'll be free to our students. And we're just excited about it because we're going to try to really shove a lot of sugar in a 5-pound bag and have a lab manual, have videos of how to do the labs, and just really make it something that is both student friendly and instructor friendly. So we're really excited to get started, and we do thank you guys so much for this opportunity. I guess the old saying, three's a charm, must be right, because this is the third time I've applied for a transformational grant. So I'm thrilled to be with you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Third time's a charm. We'll keep that. And we're glad to have you with us. And it does sound like a very exciting project. So that sounds good. The labs are difficult to navigate sometimes. Let's continue on with Kennesaw State. We have operating systems. If the team is here for them.
Hello, this is Bobinder from the Kennesaw State University. And our project is mainly focused on the operating system. Our team member, we have 4 team members, Dr. Kunshaw, Dr. Patrick Bobby, and Dr. Danlot. And operating system is one of the very fundamental course for the undergraduate computer science. And in this project, we are trying to convert the textbook into the high quality online learning materials. For the operating system, during every spring and the fall semester, we may have on average is 5 or 6 sections. And in the summer, we will have 3 sections. And each of the section, we have 40 students. So for this project, if we can convert the textbook into the online material, we should have a huge impact into the the financial cost reductions. And another thing we want to do is we will develop AI teaching assistants. And what we are planning to do is using the open source large language models. We will not use the OpenAI. OpenAI because you need to submit the data on their servers. Because we also concerned about the student data privacy. So we will run everything on the local and provide the link to the student attending our class. Yeah, that's the basic introduction. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. This sounds like a really exciting project as well. So we have another from Kennesaw State, our last 2, as a matter of fact. So the statistical applications in psychological science. That team is available to introduce.
Hi, I'm Chandler Hilley, and I apologize if it's loud in the background, but I'm having to sit outside. So
we don't hear a thing. You're good.
Oh, perfect. So I, and along with a couple other faculty members in the Department of Psychological Science at KSU, Dian Hanjung, and Hansel Ream, and then we're working with partners in the library, Chelsea Dixon, and in our Digital Learning Innovations Office, Kelly Price. So we are going to take an existing open educational resource that kind of mostly exists in a PDF format, and we're going to transfer that over to the LibreText system so that we can incorporate some additional multimedia things like videos and activities that we create through WebWork and iMath AS and things like that. So that's one aspect of the project, is just to make the textbook more it's already accessible, but make it more engaging to students. Because, one of the things that we've heard from students is for instructors who are using this textbook already, students will say by the end of the semester, like, I forgot we had a textbook or something like that. So we really want to make it something that's actually useful to students by incorporating everything into that one platform. And then the other thing that I think is even more interesting, or like that we're going to kind of get the most bang for our buck with this, is that we're also creating assignments through the iMath AS system. So iMath AS is basically something it's actually called My Open Math. My Open Math is a free web version of an online homework system. So we often pay $90 or $100+ per semester per student for these systems, and really students are just doing their homework there. But with My Open Math, that system is free and open to all students. We can incorporate it into D2L and have all of their homework assignments be submitted there. The nice thing about it is that it can generate new data for every single student. And if a student gets a question wrong, they can go back and regenerate that question, rework on the question again, and practice it multiple times. So we're trying to essentially increase engagement across, both the textbook aspect and also the homework aspect with this project. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, no, thank you. And last but certainly not least, another project from Kennesaw State with cryptography.
Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Xingyue Zhang, and I am assistant professor of the CS department. So in this project, we have a team member, Dr. Chen Zhao from the CS department as well. So we are actually working on two different courses. One is cryptography, and the other is deep learning. So as right now, AI and cybersecurity, they are very, very popular, and more students are enrolling in these two courses. So in this case, we would like to transform the resources from some purchased like commercial textbook to the open textbooks, because there are so many good open textbooks right now. And also we want to build up a GitHub repo for all the other students from the public to let them work on the hands-on project, because especially for deep learning, we need more hands-on projects. So in this case, we hope we can have like a broader impact to the public and to help the people who would like to join to the cybersecurity and AI area to learn more about the basic things. That's it. Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you to everyone who has done their introductions today. We really will have a lot of information now to kind of push through rather quickly. But as you can see, with all the intensity with each of these projects, the timelines and the deadlines and all the things that we're about to go through next that Jeff is going to take you through is going to be vitally important. So like I said, I thought we might have some time for a quick pop quiz or two. We may not. I'll let Jeff make those decisions as he's going through the slides to make sure that we're getting all the information that we need. But we know that this is an important segment of the kickoff meeting for a number of reasons, as you're finding with introductions for the projects. So Jeff, I'll turn it back over to you, and we will press forward.
Yeah, I think we're making good time,
Is it
actually.
good time?
Yeah, so everyone has already taken the asynchronous training on OER. Just a quick refresher for folks, especially if you're not going to be using OER for your projects, but you're like, what the heck are these people talking about with Open? The benefits for using something like OER are not just that they're free. Yes, they are free, and they're free to use and they're free to keep. So you can't just say that an OER expires for a subscription at some point, and therefore you don't have access 2 years from now. It's always going to be there at zero cost to students. So there's two kinds of freedom that are basic as part of those benefits. But the flexibility is another big part. The open licenses that are on OER allow you to make your stuff more relevant for your students. And as we share these out under open licenses, other instructors can take those and say, okay, well, my students aren't at Kennesaw State University, but I can make our stuff more relevant to our students over here because I have the permission to do so from that open license. And also, these are being authored by faculty across the United States and often across the globe. There's a healthy OER contingent in Canada. There's an entire UNESCO meeting on OER that deals with sustainable development goals. It's really neat to see a network of experts. Oh yeah, Dr. Mangans would love to learn. Dr. Mangan would love to learn more about LibreText. LibreText is free to use. It's one of those things where they've built all kinds of cool stuff on top of cool stuff. So if you want to go in and tinker with LibreText, it's very easy to get in and do so. Now their Adapt system, I do believe, is a subscription thing because it's an IT system that's more a homework thing. Manifold is more of a publisher platform, a bit like the original LibreText. Yeah, sorry, just responding to chat for a second there. Yeah, so the Creative Commons licenses that you have available include, of course, the building block by, right? That's attribution. That is the difference between a Creative Commons license and something in the public domain. Attribution allows you to say that if you're going to use my work, you need to attribute the original. So if you have like 5 different adaptations, right? They're all going to trace back to that original work. One of the things that folks were a little confused about when we first got started with ALG is, well, if I create this and I put it under an open license, who's to stop somebody from making a bad version of it? Well, they can. They can make that bad version of it, but they have to attribute the original. So if something's terrible and then you go back to the original and it's great, well, someone could write a bad anything, right? And if they said that they used yours and they go back to yours and it's better, well, now we have a much better foundation to work on to customize something else and make a better version for somebody's course. And you're always keeping the history of that resource going through attribution. The 2 restrictions you can place on top of attribution that work with OER are non-commercial and share alike. Non-commercial means that if you're going to create a new work out of the stuff that you've shared, it can't be used for commercial use. You can't make a profit off of this. You can still print it out using a for-profit print shop. It would be unfair to say you must own your own print shop and therefore you can print it out. But you can't then go and sell it at a profit. Share alike means I have created this and you need to put this under the same exact license so we can pass that freedom along over and over and over. So it just continues, openness continues forever as a responsibility just as much as it is a freedom. That's really cool stuff. It kind of comes from the open software movement. And yeah, these are permissible depending on what you need. No derivatives, though, is one that is frowned upon in open education, and that's because if you are teaching a particular course and you have designed your stuff just for your students, and then somebody else would like to use yours to make something new for their students, they can't do it with a no derivatives thing. No derivatives says you just cannot change anything about this at all. You can copy it, but you need to copy it exactly how it is. You can put it into a different file format for accessibility purposes, but you cannot revise it. You cannot remix it. I would frown upon using that in education unless you absolutely had to. ND is one of those things where if something's personal to you or there's like critical data that can't be changed without being dangerous or something like that, ND works for that. Open research especially could use ND in some cases, and open artworks can sometimes do that if something's very personal. But yeah, so that's really where CC BY, SA, NC, all of that stuff is just 4 different building blocks that include a couple of restrictions on them. And what this does is gives you and everyone else permissions right up front. So nobody has to email somebody else and be like, hey, can I use this? And then hopefully they email you back and they don't think that you're some sort of spammer and it doesn't go through a filter. And somebody doesn't have to ask you for like $5 and an invoice and a contract and all this stuff. Like it is just an open license and it says, this is what you can do with it. And therefore you can take action, which is really nice. And open educational resources have a life cycle that just keeps on going. As new teams remix the old resources, new teams are looking at those new resources and making new stuff out of them and making it relevant. So hopefully we have a sustainable cycle going with OER. So it's more than just free, it is kind of the point I wanted to bring there. Now, for grants, we have some paperwork, and that paperwork is super critical to how these projects operate because these can't be funded without both the USG and the institution agreeing that this work's going to get done, and then the invoices being sent to us so that the USG can pay the institution to do the thing that has been agreed upon. So the SLA is the first part of that, the agreement. The invoices are the second part of that, the funding. Now, some of you have already done all of the work for your SLA. The project lead who received the service level agreement needs to work with the business or grants office or within your department, it depends on the institution, to get that signed by your institution. That's why we do this acknowledgement form, that you've met with business and grants office folks, that you know each other, that you have a point of contact for getting this stuff done. And until that agreement is fully signed, technically the project hasn't started, because the institution hasn't said, I'm okay with this, and the USG hasn't then said, yes, we are okay with this. So we have to make sure that those signatures get done very quickly. That's why it says time is of the essence on the SLA document. I'm sure every contract also says time is of the essence, so it's kind of tough in that regard. But the tough thing about this for us is that if you need something paid for, the USG can't take an invoice from the institution until that service level agreement is fully executed, until the folks at the top of USG Academic Affairs and the Chief Operating Officer have also signed this document. Then they can pay the invoice. So getting that SLA signed and sent over to me so that we can get that over to the folks in the USG and then send it back to you as a copy of it would be really, really helpful. Oh, we have a question from Dr. Cartwright regarding materials created for students to use free. Can a bookstore or another entity print hard copies, or would students handle that themselves? Some students prefer a physical copy. Yeah, so with anything that is a CC BY open license work, you can print it out. You can use a print shop to print it out. A bookstore can print it out. That's not a problem. If it has a non-commercial designation, that NC part, it can't be then sold at a profit. So let's say that the bookstore goes out to a print-on-demand service, gets it printed out, sells it at the bookstore. They have to sell it at cost if it's an NC designation, unless you, the author, give permission for them to do more than that. You know, you still have the copyright as the author. You can still give permission. But other than that, if there's an NC designation, they can't sell it at a profit. Same thing with just an instructor who prints out the OER and says, okay, I'm going to sell it to you. It cost me $20 to print and you're going to buy it at 50. You can't do that either unless you are the author themselves that has the copyright. So yeah, it's a little weird, but I would say for the most part, yes, printing hard copies is fine. Some students do prefer that. And yeah, OpenStax has partnerships with a print-on-demand service called ZanEdu that prints them out and has a partnership, I believe, with the National Association of College Stores, and that's how you wind up with it on Amazon and Follett and things like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. And Dr. Hilly is talking about functionality in LibreText. Awesome. Oh, yep. They have a YouTube for sure. Created initially by chemistry professor Delmar Larson. Yep. So yeah, they started out with chem. They've really tried to branch it out into an everything resource. It's really neat. Everything is based on it's all based in academia, LibreText, which is a really neat way to do an IT project like that. Dr. Shao, please send an email my way and we can check on the status of your SLA. I wish we had an IT platform where we could all just look at the status of any contract at the moment. I've told this to legal and legal said, I wish we had that too. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So we're all griping about that, unfortunately. Yeah. So the SLA, getting that signed, very important. Then the invoices, right? So after the SLA is signed, the first half of that award needs to get paid. And the first half of that award gets paid for an invoice for half of the grant amount. This is usually a PDF. It's usually a one-page document, and it is sent from the institution, from the grants or business office, and it asks us to pay a particular amount. It is not from you. You don't have to write a personal invoice to us to pay you. The institution writes the invoice, sends it over. It's also not the expense report thing that you get out of something like PeopleSoft. You've seen those printouts that are landscape and they have every single expense line and there's numbers and chart fields and all. That's not what it is. It is a one-page document that says for the first half of this grant, number this, invoice date this, pay us this amount. That is it. It is often done in Excel and printed out as a PDF. It's very simple. So do not send in the expense report. That is not what we're looking for. It is an invoice from your institution. From Dr. Samples, if part of my grant funding is to pay for materials and supplies needed at the beginning, how do we do this? You'll want to contact your grants or business office folks at your institution. Every institution does this differently. Some of them will wait until full execution of the SLA and then run a line of credit. Others cannot. They have to wait until the invoice is there. Others will pay things first and then will bill directly just those costs and invoice them to us. That makes bookkeeping a little tough over on our end, but they are very accurate on their end that way. It really depends on what your institution does, and it varies wildly depending on which institution you're at. So be sure to talk with your business or grants office contact for this exact question. And yeah, it's your institution that invoices us. If your institution has a research foundation, that is not who we have the agreement with. Georgia Tech has a huge Georgia Tech Research Foundation. Most grants go through the Georgia Tech Research Foundation as they are external grants from other organizations. We're all the same organization. We are in agreement with your institution. So Georgia Tech invoices come from Georgia Tech. UGA invoices come from UGA. A lot of places will never have this problem. Don't worry about it. But if you do have a research foundation, make sure that it's coming from the institution and not that foundation. Oh, yeah, more discussions on Manifold and LibreText. Oh, very cool. Y'all should keep in touch. That's one of the cool things about the kickoff meeting is that as people introduce themselves and are talking about what they're working on, someone was like, that sounds cool, but I'd like to look at that. So yeah, the 2 invoices that are often sent, although some send 3 because like I said before, some of them do direct billing on exactly the amounts that are spent. But usually we do an initial invoice for half the award amount. You send it to me and you send it to Dina Anderson. She is our admin over here at Galileo, not just for ALG, but for all of the library initiatives that go on. Both of us are able to do these invoice procedures, and then Dina and Lucy do the signatures and send it out to accounts payable. Accounts payable can take 1 week or 2 weeks, depending on when it's sent, who's in the office over there, who's on holiday, who's sick. Like it can vary because human beings are a big part of all of these processes, but usually 1 to 2 weeks. If we already have the invoice, and y'all have not received a payment in like a month, your institution has not, reach out to us and we can check on that. Then accounts payable will send that payment to the institution. It is through an ACH payment, and it is not, sometimes all of the Board of Regents payments get lumped into one. So they may have to look for a payment that in the list doesn't match the amount that's sent in that invoice. But if you break out that payment in the details, okay, well, here's one for the ALG grant, here's one for the STEM grant, here's one for African American men in math, something like that. You can see a whole bunch of different strategic initiatives in one payment sometimes, so it depends. Dr. Wadsworth says, for a continuous improvement grant, our SLA and the website differ on whether or not we attend the midpoint check-in meeting. Could you clarify? Okay, so we would love for everyone to be at the midpoint check-in meeting. We definitely want the transformation grant folks to all attend. We would love for all the project leads to be there. But yeah, check in with us if you're not able to attend. Just let me know, and we can work that out for sure. The more the better, of course. Dr. Sample says, once we send the SLA, we can do the initial invoice, right? Then monies are at FBSU to buy initial materials and supplies. Yes, so once Fort Valley State sends the invoice over to us, and then once USG accounts payable sends that payment back to Fort Valley State, and Fort Valley State has that payment, then they should be able to let you know that that money is available. Now, at some institutions, it may be available before they even receive that payment. It depends. So be sure to be in contact with your grants and business office on how that works. No problem. And yeah, so once the final report is sent in, once we've received it, please do get that final invoice sent over to us after, so that we can close out the project and that the rest of the funds can be received by the institution. Okay, we still have some time. So I'm okay with doing a quiz break, Nikita, if that's all right with you.
It's very all right with me. I'm excited about it.
All right.
I'm an instructional designer by profession, so pop quizzes are something I love to put inside. So everyone, I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to take a quiz. So there will be, let's see, there we go. Excuse me. There will be 10 seconds per question. There's just 3 questions here, and you will receive points and bragging rights at the end. So we will go to the first question. Hopefully you were paying attention to what Jeff, sorry, Jeff?
So do they have to, is this built in, or do they have to go to the link again?
They have to go to the link, and I should probably, let's copy the link address and put that in the chat. My apologies. I got so excited, I forgot to tell you how to take the quiz. How to take it. So let's do that. Here's the quiz. And so let's do that. And this is the question. And when I go to the next screen, it'll actually start the quiz. So everyone, please go ahead and if you could go to the link. There is a limit on the number of people that can respond. We're using the free version of this. So if you can't get in this particular quiz, you can join in the next one. But when I start the quiz, it'll just be 10 seconds per question. So I'll give you just a moment to kind of go to the link, and then we will go to the quiz question there. All right, so there's 10 seconds. When you send an email to ALG about some aspect of your project, whether it's about your plans or funding for the SLA signatures, reference your what? And so we've had 20 people that were able to respond. And so here are the answers. Grant number. That's correct. Your grant number. We do appreciate that. All right. So you're paying attention.
Yep. Every so often, we will get a document that has like 8-string number on it that is very exclusive to the institution. And I have to go, what the heck is this? And I have to start looking up names. If we have your grant number, it's so much easier. I can immediately find it and I can respond very quickly.
Indeed, indeed. And so we appreciate that. And so we have our rankings here. Some were able to register, some didn't. It's okay, you don't have to register, but you know your guest number, and we'll award your points and your bragging rights accordingly. All right, so the next question is, now that your project's SLA is fully executed, your institution's business or grants office should what? All right, guys, 10 seconds from here. And we're getting some participants. All right, 10 seconds. That's good. Not long, not a lot of time here, but we want to move along. So the answer is, that's right. Send the first of 2 invoices for half the award amount. And so you won't send an invoice for the full award amount. You only do the first half. Jeff, if you would just kind of reiterate that point for us.
Yep. So the one with the second half is sent after the end of the final report. So the first half is to make sure that things like materials and supplies, as Dr. Samples had mentioned, can get paid. And then the final one is the final funding that's received after the report is submitted.
Correct. So it's half and half, and there won't, so you won't need to send an invoice for the full award amount. It'll be half and half. So we'll just do that. All right. So the last question here, we've got our leaderboards. And our last question here, again, 10 seconds. Find your grant number where? 10 seconds, everyone. All right, we actually got a few more to participate this time. You were able to get in quicker. Very good. 10 seconds is up. So you'll find your grant number, yes, on your SLA. Actually, the answer is on your SLA for any question. Everything that you need to know about your projects, your expectations, what the things you need to find your information, it's going to be on the SLA. The SLA persists with all the information that you need. The impact page, you will not find your grant number. Although grant numbers are there in some aspects, you won't be able to connect it to your particular grant. And also the impact page only gives information on published projects. And in this process, your projects are not on the impact page at all. So. And Jeff, did I correctly summarize that?
Yeah.
All right, good. Just want to make sure. But yes, the SLA is pretty much the answer for almost every question. All right, so Jessica, woo, congratulations. All right, Jeff, so I will turn it back over to you and stop sharing and we'll keep going.
All right, the kickoff presentation is loading once again. Here we go. Perfect. And it's all the way back at the beginning. Not perfect. Let's just get all the way over to here. So the next part is about the reporting that you'll have to do. If you have a transformation grant, you're reporting each semester on how it's going. This is a very involved process. There's a lot of meetings, there's bigger teams. That's why we have a semester status report. It's an online Google form. If you are in a different country that firewalls Google, be aware that it is a Google form and you should probably do it when you're in the country and not when you're outside. Multiple choice, short paragraph questions. It's a very low impact exercise. It focuses on making sure that you're on track, that you don't have any big critical questions. And those links are always on the Grantee Information Center page, including the printable template, just in case you can't access the form itself. And so it's questions like the info about the project so we know which one it is. Overall, are you on track? Do you have a list of materials? If it's a very big list, you could just send it over through email. If it's like, hey, we're just using these 2 things, great, just send it over. The status of the materials review and the adaptation, the status of hosting the new materials, redesigning the course, which can be integrated into the creation of new materials. It may not be. Depends. Any other work, just a catch-all question. Any changes in personnel, that's a really big one. Impact estimates and any other questions there. Change in one faculty member who dropped out and replaced with someone else. Is this where you would report the information? Yes, this is where you would report that information. And of course, be sure that that's updated when you submit the final report as well. The final report is for everyone. It's only submitted at the end of the final semester of your project. That is on your service level agreement. The deadline is on the service level agreement. These final report templates and the submission form are on the Grantee Information Center page. It's one big giant form to send it in, the online form, but the templates are exclusive to each one. And there are pathways in that form for transformation grants, continuous improvement grants, and research grants. So if you look and they're all the same link to the form, you're like, what the heck? Well, it's because once you answer a question in there, you go to one place or another. Now, when you submit your final report, you want to do the Word document first. Get the narrative stuff down. Also, you'll have a file that has all of your data in there. From the project if you have it. You can use a zip folder for that because often you'll get more than one file when it comes to data stuff. Your syllabi, so same here. If you have multiple courses, zip works very well. A photo of your team or class if you want to, that we could possibly use in a flyer or something like that. Hey, check it out. It's our grant program and here's this awesome team. And the second invoice, if it's possible. Often institutions will not invoice until you've already sent in the final report. That's okay too. For continuous improvement grants, you'll just want that Word document and your materials. The syllabi, the photo, that stuff is not necessarily required in the same way, although you can send it in if you would like. Sending in your materials for the final report. There are file size limits on the online form, and there are also file size limits on email. If you have a very small combined file size and it works out just fine, you don't get an error message, you can send it through the final report. But if that doesn't work, you could email it to us. That's about a 30 megabyte file size limit. But if it's big, just send it in a Google folder, a Dropbox folder. I recently received a Word document that listed everything by module. They have the textbook, they have the PowerPoint, and then they have like 7 movies in the transcripts. And I just download each one, and then I'm just organizing it in folders over on my side. Works out just fine. You can host them on your campus webpage if you would like and link us to them in the final report. We'll try to make those doubly available at that point so that just in case something happens on your website, you still have it. And yeah, you can always, of course, attach it in an email. The method it doesn't really matter as much because we can host it after that in the same way. Reporting deadlines. Those are big. They are on your SLA and they are in the Grantee Information Center page at all times. The next deadline is spring 2025, of course, because that's our semester. That's May 16th. In the summer, August 11th. In the fall, December 19th. So they're very far at the end of that semester, hopefully after teaching has already ended. And summer is a little bit weird, but also not that many projects end in the end of the summer. But yeah, these deadlines will be updated on the Grantee Information Center as time goes by. Please do bookmark that page. The Grantee Information Center is it's in the syllabus of Affordable Learning Georgia grants. Whenever there's a question, it is often there. So please be sure to bookmark the page and keep that handy, especially if you're a project lead. If you ever need to check up on, when's this due? It'll be right there for you. We're going to email the link later on when we email the kickoff stuff that gets, once the video is processed and the transcripts are added and stuff like that, we'll also send out another link to the Grantee Information Center. So a little bit about communications, not too much. I mean, there's a lot of text here, but it's just for folks who are reading the PowerPoint itself. When you're sending stuff to us about a particular project, please do reference your grant number, especially, for instance, today we heard from Dr. Sean Callahan. He's been a project lead on many projects because he's shepherded a lot of folks at his institution through OER. It's been really cool to work with him. And if he asked me, hey, this thing about my project, how's it going? I would be like, wait, which one? So be sure to reference your grant number. It makes it so much easier. And yeah, that's the 3-digit number, or an M with a continuous improvement grant, RG if you have a research grant. If it's 5 digits, it's probably something that belongs on the institution's end and wouldn't compute for me. And yes, you have a name, not a number. It's just that it makes it so much easier for us to get your information about that project very quickly. Oh, thank you, Dr. Jensen. Yeah, thank you. Now, we're also going to add you to a listserv. That listserv is for announcements. If we put in brackets in the subject line, all grantees, then it's everybody. If we put in round 26 grantees, then it's just for you. If we put in round 27 grantees, then it's not for you. You may get a thing that says, welcome round 28 grantees. And you'd be like, I'm not a round 28 grantee. That's okay. This is the entire list. So we're adding everybody to it. If you have any personal questions, don't respond to the listserv, of course, because you wouldn't want to just share out all of your PII, personal identifiable information, immediately. You would want to just send it to us. So please let us know at our email addresses if there's anything that pops up that you wouldn't just be sharing with the whole group. But yes, you'll be added to a listserv. This is just mostly for announcements. The midpoint check-in meeting is on July 11th at 1 p.m. This is our time to regroup. You're going to go through this spring semester. You're going to get some cool work done. You may actually be starting out on the really big part of the work in the summer. Who knows? Everybody's got different timelines, right? But in the middle of July, we'll talk about how everything is going and we can reconvene and regroup. And be sure to bring any questions that you have, any concerns that you have. This is especially a good time for teams to talk to each other as you're all going through this process. And we can kind of take a look at what a midpoint should look like at this point. And if you're not quite there, how do you get there? Yeah. So the last one we did was really fun, very collaborative. So I'm looking forward to it. So we only have 10 minutes left. So Nikita, I think we
Pass on this one?
Well, no, actually, you know what? This would be the last thing we do. Let's go ahead.
Okay, great. All right, so everyone, thank you for paying attention so far. We just have one more pop quiz for you, just to make sure that you're well engaged with this information. I'll go ahead and drop the link again in the chat, 10 seconds per question, and share my screen so that you can see the poll. All right, so everyone, we want to give some time for questions, so we'll go ahead and do this rather quickly. We're going to test your knowledge on the grant procedure so far. So the first question, semester status reports are due for, and 10 seconds from here, everyone. So 10 seconds here, if you would go ahead and participate in our quiz. Let's see if you were paying attention. All right, we have some participants. Good, 10 seconds. All right, you guys did pretty good with the quick responses. And so, yeah, transformation grant projects only. Semester status reports are due for the transformation grants only. So as you can see, some of you thought maybe the grant and the research and continuous improvement, but it is only for the transformation grants. All right, next question. So, and we have our leaderboard here. Let's see who makes it to the end here. And so the next question, final report templates and submission instructions are found where? 10 seconds, everyone. We have some people who are quick on the draw today for this question. All right, so the question has closed. And so the answer is final report templates and submission instructions are found on, yes, the Grantee Information Center page on the ALG website. Again, most every question you're going to find the answer, the answers you need on the information, the Grantee Information Center or your SLA. One of the two of those are going to be the places you're going to check in very quickly. Now, your grant office does have a lot of information, but when it comes to specifics about the project, you're going to want to check the Grantee Information Center or the SLA. The grants office is really just mostly involved in the processes between the two institutions, between the USG and your institution. All right, anything you want to add there, Jeff, to that context?
No, I think that's good. Just one quick reminder that the last question we asked was about just the semester status reports. And those are in addition to the final report. The final report is for everyone.
Correct. Thank you for pointing that out. And our last question we have the leaderboard has changed a little bit there. Our last question here is to move quickly. And in the context that Jeff is referring to, final report deadlines are, and 10 seconds, everyone. Final report deadlines are, I have quite a few who are quick on the answer here. That's good. All right, so 21 responses, great. All right, so final report deadlines are, yes, available in the Grantee Information Center on the ALG website, where you're going to find a lot of the details that you need for how to get through the process of this grant project session. All right, great. Everybody, thank you. And so we have a complete upside down on the leaderboard there. So congratulations to our guest 494. And we'll close out with you, Jeff, if you want to take control back.
Yeah, so usually at this point we would go through the PowerPoint and say, are there any questions? And thank you. So I'm just going to keep this open instead because we don't need to transition back to the PowerPoint for that. Sure. Before we adjourn, does anyone have any additional questions or any concluding thoughts before we go?
And feel free to unmute or drop it in the chat, either way.
All right. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yes, and everyone's projects do sound exciting. That's one of the cool things about a kickoff meeting like this, especially if it's your first time. You're like, whoa, yeah, everybody's doing some neat stuff. That's great. And thank you for your ideas and for your plans and for the work that you're about to get started on, Heidi and the entire group. So thanks so much. I'm going to stop the recording. And if you have any questions, please do send us an email at jeff.galan@usga.edu and nakita.afaha@usg.edu.
And I've never been thanked for a quiz before. You're welcome.